Hello out there, YouTube community. As promised, I have a video here featuring the K&N Typhoon intake system for 2013 to 2016 Chevrolet Malibus equipped with the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter dual overhead cam variable valve timing engine. K&N did a dyno test, all right, and found that their air filter system will improve your wheel horsepower. This was a chassis dynameter. They didn't pull the engine. All right. By 8.24 horsepower at 6,300 RPMs. All right. It will improve your wheel torque by 11.13 foot-pounds at 4,000 RPMs, 3979. So you just round up. All right. Now, this car's factory setup, it makes its peak torque at 4,400 RPMs. All right, so this intake system will improve your low RPM torque and your mechanical efficiency of your engine breathing at low engine speeds, which will in turn improve your fuel efficiency. All right. Also going to cover the difference between a ram air intake system and a cold air intake system. As you can see, the 2015 Malibu has a factory cold air intake system. All right, see, goes down into the bumper. All right, automakers and racers like cold air intakes because they show up on a dyno test. All right, cold air is more dense. The trade-off to that is the control module adds more fuel because the air charge is more dense with oxygen. All right, this setup does come with a list of specific instructions on how to do this step by step, as it does require some modification of the factory components while still being able to connect this particular piece. This has to do with your positive crank ventilation system, so you do not want to damage this when removing the plenum. All right, and there is a fitting for that on one of these. There is a fitting for it. All right, you will have to move your mass airflow sensor. All right, this piece will fit in the car. As you can see, there's the throttle body in a nasty ass place to get to. But essentially, this piece fits like so. All right, this is a rough estimate of how it's going to look in the car. All right. Now, your air filter will be right here behind the headlight. All right, but notice there's not a lot of airflow there. All right. Now, the reason this is a cold air intake and not a ram air intake is particularly the heat shield. I'm not sure if this is steel or aluminum. I think it's steel. All right, but this heat shield comes with a rubber gasket, so it'll seal up against the hood. All right. I may not even use it, but all one would have to do to turn this to a ram air system is bend this leg out like, basically you bend it, put it at an angle like this. That way the airflow through the grill would hit that, move right into the air filter. All right, ram air does not show up on a dyno test. The reason being, your vehicle is not moving. What a ram air system does is, for a naturally aspirated engine, as the car is driving in a forward motion, essentially the air flowing through the front of the car is directed directly into the intake. This allows higher velocity air at lower engine speeds to properly pressurize the cylinders. Ram air, a couple of things about ram air systems, as they're great for building sleepers. They improve fuel efficiency. That's one of the reasons why automakers, except for Pontiac, don't really use them. They don't show up on a dynameter, so they won't help sell the car. All right. Another thing about ram air systems that many people don't know, ram air systems on a naturally aspirated engine can create boost under certain conditions when the vehicle is able to achieve a speed greater than 100 miles an hour. All right. Now, as far as that goes, you're probably thinking, well, wouldn't that damage a naturally aspirated engine? Yes, it could, and no, it probably won't. Most manifold absolute pressure sensors, which God only knows where mine is on this intake manifold, are calibrated to 1.5 times barometric pressure, which means you can put a little bit of boost onto a naturally aspirated engine and not hurt it. the ECM will be able to properly calibrate the air-fuel ratio. All right, K&N does supply all of the parts and tools you will need for the job. All right, as you can see, I've already got some of it put together. All right, this is a time-consuming process, so I won't be recording myself installing it on the vehicle. All right, here's the part that goes to the throttle body. Here's the 2 hose clamps for it. They could have really put that throttle body in a better position. All right, I made sure to save the bolts. All right. There is one thing I'd like to note. K&N leaves it in their instructions to make sure to save your factory equipment for your car's intake system. All right. Comes with a pre-oiled air filter. Everything ready to install. This is for the AIR injection pump. For vehicles that are equipped and sold in the People's Socialist Republic of California, although otherwise known as Fucktardistan, all right, cars are equipped with an AIR injection pump. AIR injection pumps inject atmospheric air into the exhaust system during a cold start to control cold start emissions. All that does is add oxygen to your exhaust, which results in your car adding more fuel during a cold start. AIR injection pumps do not do shit. And that's probably why they're not required for federal emissions. But California, as we know, is kind of, well, yeah, they're kind of off in their own little world. All right, some of the tools you'll need a T30 Torx bit to remove the engine cover. You will need a T20 Torx bit to change out the mass airflow sensor and transfer it to the tube. You will need a 5/16 or 8mm socket, 10mm socket, Phillips screw for removing the air box, ratchet extension. All right, it's not too hard. So I'll get this installed. And about a week from now, you should have another video showing what my fuel economy is. I made sure to disconnect the batteries, which clears all the MEMCAL, short-term fuel trims, and long-term fuel trims. And we're going to see how this works out.